check this out. The Mud Thrashers. 37 by 13.5 R15. This is the stock tire that comes with the Trailfinder 2. The hubs are Beadlocks, 1.55. Got a little bit of styrofoam on there from the box, not a big deal. There's the back hex adapter. Now, I love a good scale tire. I should have cleaned this off, but I'm not going to use this one. I've had these tires. I've used them on my other truck. You'll see there. I still have it on this truck right here. But I think it's time to upgrade. You know, I like the challenge of the 155s, but I also like a little bit of functionality and bigger size tires. Look at this. This is a 1.7 Beadlock. Not even a 1.9, 1.7. Licensed Mickey Thompson Classic Lock. Okay? Now, Classic Lock, how do we get that apart? I struggled for a little bit because I couldn't turn it. I couldn't figure out how to get it apart. Until I went back to the RC4 Drive website and I realized that in the box of rims was this tiny, tiny little wrench. That's exactly what that is. Not the driver, the wrench. The driver size is 332. It's actually a lug remover. Look at this. All the scale guys out there right now, I'm telling you right now, it doesn't get much more scale than when you have to undo. Well, how many are there? There is quite a few bolts on there. I'm not going to count them. That'd be boring for you. You guys can pause it and count it. I'm sure it's around 20 or so. There's 16 of these. Okay? So now you put your wrench down, the driver down, you actually get a bit of a separation. Here comes the ring. Down we go. Off comes the slider. And 3 pieces. And all of these screws you took out. Now, this is my preferred tire for, this year. New X2 SS compound. This is what I've been using on my rigs. The Mickey Thompson 1.55 single Baja Claw TTC scale tire. Just like they use in the 1-to-1s. Check this out. This is a huge tire and super sticky compound. Nice. Here we go. This is the 16 by 45 15 LT Mickey Thompson Baja Claw TTC tire. Now, you guys have seen me use these tires before because this is really what I prefer to use. Now, something I do that's a little bit different that people are starting to do, I do it just to give it a more realistic and better crawling feature. I run foamless. Because I go into a lot of water, because I do a lot of different things like that, you get water in your tire, it makes it super heavy in this foam. It's like a sponge. It's like chocolate milk. If it's muddy, you squeeze it out. It's pretty gross. I don't use them anymore. You can. It doesn't bother me at all. I like the extra flex for when I'm going over rocks and, stuff I can't see when I'm running underwater anyway. Plus, in mud, if I get quite a bit of wheel speed, it kind of flattens out a little bit and gives me more surface area. Anyway, I digress. So, let's see here. I would take this part right here. First, we'll start with this. The ring. Put the ring inside the tire. Okay? Here we go with the back beadlock, sliding it. You got to make sure that you're going the right direction, right? Line it up so you know which tire you're doing. Bump, 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 bump. Get this in there. Now, you see me struggling a little bit. Why is that? Well, because my tire is actually a 1.55 diameter in here, and I'm putting it on to a 1.7 beadlock. Now, it's not too far off. That's not too bad. So I don't mind going in and stretching it a little bit to be actually in the bead. Okay, so I can stretch out the tire a little bit. Stretching it out, making sure that bead's lined up. Here, getting close so you can see. Making sure the bead is lined up, right? Getting into place properly. Kind of turning it, massaging it into place. Okay, there we go. Almost. There, looking pretty good. Not bad. On this side, Now, one of the things I did while I was doing the cut shot was I also undid the center hub, because I know you guys are going to want to see in there. Got most of those done. There's only 6 little screws. Come on. Giving me a bit of trouble here. Nothing but my fumble fingers. Keep the screws separate so now you can see. Center of the tire isn't too crazy. Nothing you haven't seen before. It was just a hub cap. Okay, now here's where we got to be careful. Because in this, you'll see here, just so you get a good idea, there is this internal ring. This is where the bead has to sit. Now on camera this might be kind of tough, but I'm going to start massaging the bead into the rim. There's got to be a dirty joke in there for sure. Okay, so just get it kind of started, okay? So you'll see some of the holes are exposed like so, yet some on the edges are coming out. That's not a big deal. On these Mickey Thompson rings, these particular ones, you'll notice that these have stamps, so there's no hole there. It's actually gapped out on either side. So what you have to do is find that spot on your rim, for example, right there. Check that out. Start lining that up, or else you're gonna get it on there and realize you have to redo that area. That sucks. Okay, so I lined up the holes, I lined up the gap. I'm gonna take one of these little lugs, take the wrench, oops, do it again. I love doing it on camera. This is pretty much real life how it goes anyway. Handheld. I'm just gonna get that little lug started. It's because I'm using the wrong size. How bonus is that? How is that the wrong size? I must have it upside down. There we go. Idiot. Okay, if you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at? Everybody! That's right. Okay, so I just want to line it up, get it started. There we go. Okay, next I'm just going to line it up, get it started. Now we still have to worry about the rest of the bead, but I'm just getting it tight in one spot. Not too tight though, I'm just hand tightening this, okay? I know, kind of a boring video today, but this is, you know, something that people have asked me to show them. There we go. And it gives you a good idea of how to tackle beadlocks in the future. Now, on the inside, you'll see that there is some rubber hanging over the edge. That's okay, because I've got this started at least. I know it's going to line up. I'm going to do this on camera, hopefully for you. I'm just going to go ahead and try to, I'll hold the bead here, and I'll just kind of pull it, try to snag it into place a little bit. Use one of my tools here, one of the drivers, just to kind of coax it into place. It's really tough to do on camera, guys. But I'm not complaining. Just showing you quickly. There you can see the holes on the inside, so I'm just trying to stretch it in. Once you start seeing the holes on the inside, kind of squeeze it down a little bit. This is where you could also put in another one of these screws. Kablamo, just like so. Because you know that area is now going to be near the bead. Come on! I love reality, especially when I'm filming. There we go. There we go, out of the light. There, second area. Screwed down. Now you'll see the pattern that I'm doing there, okay? 1, 2, 3. Now I'm gonna do the same thing, pull it. Coax it into place. There we go. May try to do it all the way around. It's important you get it all the way around because you don't want any air leaking. Right? These are sealed beadlocks, and yes, it's going to be kind of flat. Yes, I'll talk about that in a bit. Right? But I'm still ensuring that I'm not squeezing the tire too tight because I want to leave some air in there. Now you could either drop some Loctite in each one of these. You could do that. You never know when you want to get them undone again. But even on the 1-to-1s, you got to tighten up the rims or the bead locks, you know, once every few runs just to make sure. And since this can easily become stripped, I assume, make sure to keep your wrench. Keep it in a safe place. Maybe in the box that your parts came in, or in a special container in your toolbox, because you're definitely going to need to use them. Have a look at that. Kablamo, look at that, very nice. 16 bolts all in place. Mickey Thompson tire ready to go. So, I don't mind taking this off, showing you what we got behind the wheel. Quite literally. Wheel wrench out of the way, and there we go. So we got our hex driver, hex adapter at the back, another tire I can put off to the side. But while I'm in here, I'm going to look at doing a few other things, because with a bigger tire comes more height, yes, but also the body of the Trail Finder 2 actually is going to rub in here. I'm assuming that's quite large compared to the other tire. Look at this. It's quite a difference. There we go. You can see that. So we have to also remember that I'm going to need a lift on the truck to even have a tough truck tire like that. So I went and I had a peek. Excuse my arm reaching there. And I was pricing out different shocks. The ones that I went with is the scale 100mm black shocks with internal springs. I could remove the springs from these and run them in droop if I want. Those are pretty tight. Pretty tight spring, pretty hard spring in there. This is the red Super Soft Flex leaf spring. Okay, nice, eh? I'm going to swap it out in here. I noticed this part that I grabbed the other day on the website. A Superlift dual front shock mount for the Trail Finder 2. Did you kind of get what I said there? A dual shock mount. A Superlift. I love it. Scale stickers. Okay, so the shock mount has been removed. The shackles have been undone. The 2 pins for the leaf spring setup. You'll see small spring on top with the 2 screws that I would actually drill down right into the axle right here. They actually go through the longer leaf spring, the middle leaf spring, and then the brace on the bottom. This will be the leaf spring that I'm replacing it with. And this is the dual shock mount. Okay, now I haven't done this before, but I wanted to do this in real time so you guys would get to see what you could be expecting. Okay, see if it's difficult or easy. No instructions, but I figure it's pretty straightforward. You never know though, I screw things up all the time. It's part of learning. Okay, so there we go, number 1. I'm just kind of hand tightening these. I don't want to strip out any of the screw heads. And there we go. Looks boss. Very cool. It's not like I have to over tighten shock mounts anyway. Now, with the dual shocks that I'm going to use, they have springs inside. So I don't want to over complicate the leaf spring setup. Like, I don't want it to be too stiff. It needs to have some flex. So I think I'm going to start off, and I'm just going to do the single leaf spring because I still want lots of flex for when I'm going over tree roots, rocks, all that other kind of stuff. This is no shelf queen, right? We're going to intend on using all of my trucks. That's how it goes. Abuse them. Okay, so 1 leaf spring setup, 1 straight pin. There we go. And line it up. Beauty. Just like so. Okay. You also want to have this piece on the bottom, which would go right on the axle. There we go. Lining that up for these top 2 screws. Let's see if I can muddle my way through the first one for you guys. See, this piece right here is actually a double-sided, there's a double thread on either side, which is a spacer that goes right in the middle. Here we go. Get it in there. Come on. I know there's going to be a few people that actually go out and get this and want to follow along, so I'm just trying to take my time and do it right for you guys. Alright, both are hanging, ready to go. Now I got to put everything under pressure. And like so. Longer screw. Put that through, then you want to have a spacer on it. Good luck with that, by the way. With everything under pressure, it's amazing and a miracle that I even got that on there. Okay, and do we have the right screw top head? We do. With everything under pressure, everything being condensed, it's a bit tougher to do on camera for you. But once you get it threaded, make sure you don't cross thread it, because it's actually going into a piece on the axle that's like built right in, non-replaceable unless you replace the axle housing. Right? So going through to the other side, we're going to need another spacer. Kaboom, like so. Lots and lots of turning here. I could have used a drill. I choose not to though, because I like to know if I'm stripping anything out. The original washer. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Get in there, tighten it up. I could even use this. Make sure it's all in there snug. Not too tight though. I don't want to like break it if I need to remove it. Just snug enough that it's not going to come off while I'm out on the trail. Kabooyah! Look at that. Okay, so we're going to finish getting that hub on there. Make sure everything's snug. Look at that. Doesn't that look nice? Those are the Punisher shafts on there. They're steel drive shafts that go into a transfer case, into a 2-stage transmission. The axles are now completed. I could go with upgraded shafts, you know, upgraded axles. I decided not to for now because they're not broken. You know, they're fairly strong. They're pretty durable. Look at that. Mickey Thompson rims. Beadlocks. Mickey Thompson TTC Baja claws. There we go. Everything's looking pretty straight up and down. I got one more hub to put on here, and I'll do that later. But what I wanted to focus on was this back bumper. One last thing I could do today. Just get her done. There are, this is one of the issues I had with the stock bumper. It looks good, right? But for the type of abuse that I put my trucks through, plastic bumpers don't go too far with me. So I already undid it. You just slide it out. There's two options that I got from RC four-wheel drive. I have two trail finders, as you know. So I figured either I could go with the steel tube bumper. Let's see. This is a Tough Armor rear tube bumper. Like so. Looks just like the other one, but instead super strong, no flex. Or you can get one that's a straight bar like this. No back box protector, right? Just a straight bumper like so. I like that. Not bad. So what do you think? Bumper, dual shocks up front, one single leaf spring for suspension. Quite a bit of give in there now. Right, really good for climbing rocks. You imagine these tires trying to dig into rocks and climb at the same time. I'm still going to fiddle with these shocks, right? I got to dial them in. I prefer mine even softer than that. But I sure dig the look of the dual shocks up front. Here it is with the down below. One of the things I like about these shock towers, or the actual pistons in here being down below, is that if you are carrying any oil in there, something I learned from my rock crawling days with Ted's Garage, is that if you're carrying oil, it's already fairly heavy. You want to keep all the weight down towards the bottom of the vehicle, so if it's top heavy, you don't have to worry about it flipping over so much, right? So if you keep the weight down near the tail or down by the bottom of the vehicle, then your center of gravity is you know, kept fairly stable. But there you go, my friends. That's it right there. The next upgrade that I do on there, I'm not sure. I've got some other things planned. I got some things over on the wall there. I've got the body we got to go over. See what I'm going to do with that still. Looking pretty nice, though. Looking pretty nice. What do you think, guys? If you're not subscribed, you want to follow along, make sure to do that. It's free. And so is commenting in the video section down below. So thanks a lot. Thanks for checking out my build. See you in the next video of my Trailfinder 2.